Challenge.
All right, welcome to a new episode of Song Title Challenge, where you get inside the mind of a hit songwriter. And that crazy son of my gun is my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, man.
Well, hey, guys, this is a kind of cool little mini-so. We do it every other Friday. It gives you the opportunity in the community to send in a song title. It's not a co-write. It's not you own 100% of the song. It's just a creative exercise where we will take 15 to 18 minutes to craft up 4 or 5 different conceptual approaches to how you would write the lyrics to this song. I think ultimately most songs go wrong right from the beginning because somebody comes up with the title and then they write the most obvious thing that the title could be about, and it's like, wah, wah, wah. And if you just spend 15 minutes in your co-write, which is what really happens like in a pro room where they're just, before you start writing lyrics, you start talking about the approach. Like, what is it we want to say? What's the angle on this song? It's going to make it a lot more interesting, and you're going to send people, you're going to keep them guessing. So anything you want to add to that, brother?
Yeah, I would just say that this is for infotainment purposes. It's to help inspire you and hopefully challenge you to dig into your idea more deeply before you just launch into the song. But also, this is not a co-write. So if you send in a title and we use it on the show, I'm not going to go write it. This is yours to write. So you can use anything I mentioned or Johnny mentions. You can use all of it. It's yours. We're not getting a co-write on this. However, we would appreciate an invitation to the number one party.
That's right. You got to invite us to the party.
That's right.
I want to be there. Is there ever going to be vodka? Will there be vodka there?
I don't. Depends on what kind of party it is. I don't know. It's not my party. I'm not a writer on this. I just want to be invited.
If you want to send in a song, what happens is, by the way, I spring these live to Brent on the podcast, so he has no idea what the title's going to be.
Absolutely not.
And we're just going to kind of drop it on and get the wheels spinning and make it real spontaneous. Send your title into info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. Once again, info@daredevilproduction.com, and put Song Title Challenge in the subject line, please. Song Title Challenge. Send in as many as you want. Sometimes we get, some people that just send in like 5 or 10 titles, and that's a little more interesting to go and pick from. And, try to make it an interesting title like that you think could have a lot of different angles, right? Like probably, tater tots and macaroni and cheese isn't a good the kind of title. It's going to be like, I don't even know what it's, it's
about carb loading.
Yeah.
That's about
carb loading. That's right.
Yeah. Send in those titles that you don't know what to do with. Maybe we can figure it out.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, all right. I know what your answer is going to be. Are you ready?
No, but let's do it.
Absolutely not. All right. So this is from Tony True.
Tony True. Good to hear from you again, Tony. Thanks for sending in another one.
That's right. And the just thought there's a little dichotomy in this that would be interesting on some different ways to spin it. But blue-blooded redneck.
Okay. Blue-blooded redneck. I'm writing this down here so I can keep it in front of me. All right. So I'm going to treat this as if, I'm going to co-write with Tony, and he brings it in. It's like, hey, I got this title. I don't know what it means. Blue-blooded redneck. First thing I'm thinking is, all right, I guess we're writing a country song today.
Yeah.
Let's just start narrowing that down. Right. To me, that just sounds like, okay, we're in the country world here because you're talking about redneck. Blue-blooded. When I think of blue blood, so my thing is I try to let the title write the song. That's the first place I want to go, is I want to go to the words in this song and let those words provide clues and context to what this could be about. So blue-blooded, either I'm thinking of that show Blue Bloods on with Tom Selleck or and one of the Wahlbergs. It's a police family. Mm-hmm. So there's that. You could do something, play off of like the police thing maybe, but I also think of just blue-blooded. I think of like maybe higher class aristocracy.
I definitely think that they talk with the door closed and they all live up in the Boston or New Hampshire area, the Northeast.
And their wife is named Muffy.
That's right. His wife is named Muffy. She was playing ping pong and she stepped on the ball. Can you believe it? She just crushed it to bits.
That's really random. So, so if that's, with that in mind, you would think somebody that grew up higher class, white collar kind of thing, but either, You could go like either everybody's got some redneck in them, even the blue-blooded rednecks. Like it doesn't matter how high your raising was, you still got some redneck in you. And by redneck, okay, what do we mean by redneck? It could be that self-destructive nature, could be the nature in you that is not prim and proper and that sort of thing.
Yeah, the non-PC kind of thing where, I got some redneck friends, and one of the things I love about them is they always know where you stand.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not afraid to tell you exactly how they feel about just what just went down.
Yeah.
They're not worried about hurting your feelings. But
right,
they're not mean. Yeah,
right.
They're just like, dude, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen you do.
Right. Or, you could also be laughing at, even though you might have kind of money and proper raising or whatever, either you could expose the skeletons in some of those closets, about people drinking too much and doing what you generally think of as like kind of redneck behavior, that kind of thing. So it could be a kind of a funny song, a satirical thing about, okay, you think you're all high and mighty, but hey, they're blue-blooded rednecks out there too.
Oh man, I love that. Like, I just was thinking about, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
That's all right.
But there's a great little scene, a great line in Bull Durham, where it's like towards the end of the movie, and the meat's on the plate, pitching balls, and he's starting to freak out, and he's like, "What's going on, man?" He's like, "Oh, my dad's here. He's over there behind home plate. He's filming me." He's like, "Man, your dad's just as full of S as everybody else. Don't worry about it." But that's one thing I've found, because I've been able to sort of operate between lots of different levels of people. And I've met the upper crust, and all the way down to somebody living in a trailer park, and they all got stuff going on. Nobody,
right?
All BS, man.
Exactly. So it could be something like that about kind of no matter where on the social strata you are, everybody got something.
That's right. That's right. You got a crazy cousin, you got a...
Yeah, exactly. Cousin drinks too much, and sister's doing stuff she shouldn't, and dad would die if he knew, and
mom takes a lot of Xanax. Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Right. So only she gets it prescribed by a real doctor.
Yeah, that's right. Same high, though. It's all good.
Same high. Right. Well, that's an interesting thing for a whole song right there. Same high. So, so there's that aspect of it. And the other aspect could be more of a story about the guy or the girl, because blue blood is not gender specific, and redneck doesn't have to be gender specific, who grew up in the high society, that kind of thing, but basically went to college down south or somehow ended up in the South and found out, the inner redneck came out.
That's right.
And they could be that kind of thing. Almost the Trace Atkins song, Ladies Love Country Boys.
There you go. Yeah,
how she came for money and that sort of thing. Her mama never fried a chicken and all this stuff, but she went down south to get her college education and met this boy with camouflage breeches, and now she's riding his pickup truck. So you could kind of do the blue-blooded redneck that way. So there's a couple angles on blue. Yeah.
So another movie reference, but I mean, it's like the whole
story. George W.
W. But one of my favorite movies is really old. Is with James Garner and Lee Remick. And it's called Wheeler Dealers. Okay.
Okay. I don't know this.
It's a great movie, man. It's hard to find, but if you can find it, it's old. It's like 60s, like mid 60s.
But it's got James Garner in it, so it's got to be good.
It's awesome, right? He's super young, but he plays this, you think he's a Texan from West Texas. He's in the oil business, and one of his oil wells goes dry, and he's up in New York trying to drum up some money, but all of a sudden he's just wheeling and dealing. Like, he gets out, having a hard time finding a cab, so he decides he's going to buy this cab from this cab driver, and then he's going to keep it for 2 weeks, and he's going to sell it back to the cab driver at a loss, and he's going to write off the loss on his taxes. And then he falls in love with Lee Remick, and he's trying to, her favorite restaurant is this something that's French for the fat pig or something like that.
Yeah.
So he buys the restaurant and then redoes it all, and he's like, they come in with the wine key. It's like, the wine key is like this big, and he's like, it's a 50-foot door. He's like, well, let's make it a 100-foot door. Let's make the bar twice as big and make everybody like standing around while they're waiting for food. Let's make sure they're getting drinks. And he's like just making business deals, left and right with high art. He's got all these investors flying around, but what they find out is that he's really he went to Yale. Like, he's like a really super smart, like Northeastern blue-blooded kind of guy, but he's down in Texas ordering burnt steak and a mess of greens and playing with these boys down there because that's where the money is, you know, and he's like really super smart. But anyway, I just thought it's like an interesting sort of storyline for like a blue-blooded redneck, right? Like, that's what he's trying to be. So
it's a person passing as a redneck that's not really a redneck.
Right.
Kind of thing. Yeah, that's interesting. What else could there be? So you had, which is kind of a story song thing. Blue-blooded redneck, or, you know, rednecks with money. I mean, maybe they are from the South and they got money, but they're, you know, white trash.
I'm thinking about that, like The Millionaire Next Door.
Yeah,
like,
it could be that kind of thing too, about, you know, second generation with, I don't know, the Waltons or something, you know, with Walmart.
Or how about the dude next door that drives, like, you know, a 1968 rusted out baby blue Dodge Dart, but he's got 7 figures in the bank. You know, he lives a very meager life. Like who's the Warren
That
Buffett?
was Sam Walton, you know, that did that, you know, the guy that started Walmart that had
that's right
$1 billion and still drove his old pickup truck.
That's right.
We love that store in Arkansas.
Not putting on airs, you know, just got tons of money, man.
But maybe his heirs are. Yeah, exactly. So what else can we twist it? So I feel like we've been playing kind of all around the same pole here. Let's see if we can jump to a different pole. And
by the way, I love the way that rolls because it's blue and red, like blue.
Oh yeah, it's got that in there.
Could that be about a marriage? Could that be about a marriage with blue and red? Could it be political? Like, she's a liberal, he's a Republican, blue and red.
Maybe so.
That's a little twist, right? Because they can make fun of both of them. You know, equally.
Yeah.
And it could be like a fun political story. It would relate to everybody.
Yeah, or make everybody mad.
Well, I mean, you do it tongue in cheek. You're not really taking shots at it. It's not like, but you know, she says this and he wants to do that. I mean, that was my life when I was married. My ex is a hardcore liberal, and we seriously lived like 3 doors down from this one house that was owned by the state, and they handled, like, it was a place for I think handicapped people or whatever. They could get care and like live a normal life there.
Yeah.
But they would open up the garage, and that's where the voting thing was. Like, when it was time to vote. So literally, she would go vote, and I would come home from work, and I would be walking down the street, and I'd be dragging her as she held onto my belt loop, you know, I go to cancel out her vote.
Yeah. You're like, honey,
that's a real story.
Yeah. And that was in California?
Yeah.
She's like, you've been like, we live in California. There's no need to cancel out my vote. There are like 1 billion other people who are going to cancel out my vote in the state.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, so, but complete diametric opposing points of view when it comes to politics, you know, made it interesting. Like, but that could be fun little pond to fish in.
I mean, you could do the story about the blue bloods that got about to get popped for like tax evasion, so they head off to the Ozarks and hide out, and now they're, you know, having to live anonymously on a farm somewhere, just trying to,
interesting.
You know, and you know, stay out of trouble with the law.
Just got like, you know, $10 million under the mattress, right? Like in the barn. That's cool.
Blue-blooded rednecks. I'm trying to think of, you know, is there something else, something broad or something? A lot of this feels pretty specific, you know. I mean, for right now, I think the broadest thing is kind of the, hey, everybody's got some redneck in them. Blue-blooded rednecks, you know, they got jacked up family trees and stuff they'd be embarrassed about too. To me, that feels like the most broad. Like, what's the universal thing? What can a lot of people relate to, get a smile from? And it's still, you're throwing an arm around everybody going, y'all just like us. You just got money and a different accent.
Right.
You know, so it's not dividing. It's kind of throwing your arm around everybody going, y'all just as jacked up as us. Just the trucks ain't. You know, it's the only thing. And he's jacked up, and Nana's blue beehive is the only thing not as jacked up.
Or some of them are. I mean, you know, some of them
are, yeah.
Trucks with Mickey Thompson Super Swampers and the whole deal. Like, but they, you know, they park it outside the front of their office building where they're a lawyer in, you know, Boston.
So what else? I don't know. We're getting about 15 minutes here. I want to try and find one more that is a head turn on that blue-blooded redneck. I mean, you could do they have a kid. The blue blood and the redneck have a kid. Now, you know, you got that lineage of both things in there. which is still, pretty specific. What's the relatability other than if it's just kind of like even the Ladies Love Country Boys, she grew up in the city, subdivision, and now she's dating the country boy, but now she's riding his pickup truck because ladies love country boys. So that's kind of an anthem thing that still.
That's right. Kind of like, is that a derivative story-wise of, because I've heard it once or twice, but I can't remember, but that's kind of like Uptown Girl from
except he wasn't, a country boy, but he was blue collar and she was white collar.
Yeah.
But same kind of thing, right? Girl from uptown goes downtown kind of thing. And
what's the movie with Kiefer Sutherland and Woody Harrelson? Cowboy Way.
Oh, Cowboy Way.
All my brothers had the song on that where they're like two like straight up like
cowboys.
New Mexico rodeo cowboys. Like
and they go to New York City.
Go to New York City.
Right. Let's see. Hillbilly Bone. I mean, that kind of thing. You go up to the fancy club and pretty soon they're all, I don't know, clogging or something. There's that kind of thing too about the country boy goes up to the uptown place and turns it into a hoedown.
Yeah. You could comment on how popular country music has become, like on that thing, right? Like it turned, what the heck? It turned Boston into a bunch of blue-blooded rednecks, or wait a sec, it turned New York into some blue-blooded rednecks. Like everybody's out line dancing and loving country music because it's like the most popular form right now.
Yeah. So, Tony, hopefully there's some stuff in there you can use. To me, I think the most interesting thing is how everybody's got some redneck in them kind of thing. And throwing that arm around everybody as the most just kind of maybe universal thing. It doesn't matter kind of where you are. And you could pick out some other stuff too, not just blue-blooded, but you could also do other things comparable to blue-blooded. You can be a high, kind of like the high class white trash, the blue-blooded redneck, the da-da-da-da. You can be these different things. We're all just people. It's whatever you kind of label it. It may come out in different ways
right now and not a divisive thing.
Exactly. A uniting, like we're all just, we may put different names on our crazy, but it's all the same crazy. It just comes out in different ways, depending on what part of the country you live in.
We just call them crazy. Y'all got a fancy high 50-cent word for it up in the north, but it's the same kind of crazy.
It's the same kind of crazy. We're all just high class, white trash, blue-blooded rednecks.
There you go.
And you got the white, blue, and red, and you got a little bit of the red, white, and blue. You also high class, white trash, blue-blooded rednecks. I'd add an end to the S to the end of that to make it, plural, but it's like, and you can talk about the different parts of the country where everybody got their jacked upness.
Yep.
But hey, same kind of crazy.
Well, hey man, if Tony or anybody else wants to privately do this exercise with you on a song title or work on a song more, what can they do?
Man, I do one-on-one coaching. You can get all the details, see my schedule, book your own session at songwritingpro.com/coaching. Songwritingpro.com/coaching. We can prepare your song. We can repair your song. You can ask me questions about the art, the craft, the business of songwriting. Any way I can be of service. So check it out, songwritingpro.com/coaching.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of another song title challenge. Once again, send your song title in to info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. info@daredevilproduction.com. Put song title challenge in the subject line. Song title challenge. And it'll get into the right folder. And I just kind of weed through whatever I have and just see what strikes my fancy that day and spring it on Brent Live. So, this podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.
Song title challenge.